like to call this meeting to order, and I see we have people in the audience. Thank you for coming. The first thing on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of November the 7th, 2022. And I assume you've all had a chance to check those. And I don't think there were any amendments.
I have just a minor, just because
Okay.
it's a historic person, that E.J. Campbell's last name is not spelled correctly in number 3,
That's right.
just because.
No, that's good.
We will make that correction.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's minor.
Okay, thank you. All right, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of November the 7th with the correction, the spelling correction?
I'll make a motion we do that.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty. All right, we have 9 items on the agenda today, and several are very similar. However, let's start with the first one. And that's 704 Virginia Avenue, HRG number 2022-001.
Yes, Chairman, Joshua Weigel originally received a grant that was set to expire October 17th, 2022. Is that too loud?
No, you're okay, we were.
Oh, okay. And requested a 3-month extension, which was set to expire November of 2022. And you granted another extension, and if this extension is approved, the new due date would be May 3rd, 2023. The applicant has started work on this project. Let's see, we have a picture, there we go. They've done painting on the building, but are waiting for roofing. So, as always, staff does not make recommendations on extensions, but should you approve, the new due date would be May 3rd, 2023. Chairman?
Thank you. All right, do we have any questions or discussions about this? And have you guys seen the progress so far? It's looking good.
That's where
Yeah.
Ben used to live.
I'll make a motion that we approve this extension for
Okay.
the 3 months to end May 3rd, 2023.
I'll second that. Oh,
Thank you.
I think it's great.
All in
Beautiful.
favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, it's looking good. All right, the next thing on our agenda is 100 East Main COA 2023-001.
As Chairman alluded to, this one and the following 6 are all very similar but different, and so that's why they're individually listed. Essentially, they're all the same type of work. It is taking a metal frame door in most cases and either making it a double door or single door. So it's modifications of the doors on each of these buildings, with the last one also including removal of the metal framing around the windows adjacent to the door and putting on wood siding. So if I sound like I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. There's slight differences in each one. So for 100 East Main, the request is to replace the existing glass and metal doors with double wooden doors. The doors would fill the size of the current opening, including the transom section that is above the current door. An installation of side light windows on either side of the door to essentially fill that open space. So you can kind of see in that picture there where the red, and I can't point with the pointer up here, but you can see the small section above the existing metal doors. That's what we were just referring to as the transom. It's not the section above that.
Okay.
So I know some people could be kind of confused, but we had to give a definition for that. And then the doors on the right-hand side are the ones that Mr. Crisp has recently had done on his building of the Wedemark Bank building. And the applicant, Mr. Johnson, is requesting that same style of door on his building with the exact same carpenter. So Chairman, the applicant is here for any of all these coming ones if you have questions.
All right. Do we have some questions for the applicant on this one, or? Okay, none on this? Do we have any comments? Or no questions, no comments? All right. Do I hear a motion to approve COA 2023-001?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second it.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty.
And Chairman, as you're
Yes,
flipping to
yes.
the next item, you also see in your packet, we had our historic site staff combed through their records to find any and all photos of that section of Main Street. So that's why you have several different era photos inserted. We didn't want to repeat them, since most of these you can see all of them. So for instance, that one in front of you, we didn't put the same photo in every single one that included those 4 buildings.
Right.
We thought it was
Okay.
somewhat repetitive.
Thank you for that.
Okay. COA 2023-002, 102 East Main. And this one is to replace existing glass and metal door with a wooden door to match existing door opening.
And Chairman, I actually made a mistake on this one.
Oh, did you?
You know, when I was kind of prefacing, it's gonna sound like I'm repeating myself. Well, I accidentally repeated myself here when I shouldn't have. So this one is actually an existing wood frame door, not a metal
Oh, good.
door.
Yes, I
Um,
Wondering about that.
And I knew that
Yeah.
all of you would probably have caught that, so I had to
Yeah.
out myself before you
Sorta
called me out on
obvious.
it. So the request is to replace an existing wood frame and glass door with a new wood frame glass door to match the opening. And to point out my blunder there, on the left is the current and on the right is the proposed.
All right. Do we have questions? Would, please,
Please do.
please come up.
I'm Randy Johnson. We're gonna change the door swing to make it to code too, because, it doesn't swing according to code now. So we'll make it to where it swings like it's supposed to, according to your code. So the guy that's doing the work, he knows that, so that'll be part of it. So,
Thank you.
All right.
And what Mr. Johnson is referring to is the door is supposed to be an outward swinging door,
Right.
and currently it swings in. So
We
for,
can't have a fire and everybody caught inside?
and exactly what Dr. Beisel just said, and that's the reason, so that when you're all scrambling to get out of the building, you push and it just opens.
Yes, yes. As you trample your fellow man. Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 2023-002, that it meets criteria B, C, D, E, G, J, and K with regards to this project.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
Oh, we have 2. Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
And Chairman, I just love the photo that we have in this one, so I had to point that one out for you.
Did you see the coffins?
I know. Look at these. Love these old photos. All righty, what are we on now? We're on
005.
005. Yes.
3.
3.
The same. Same thing.
I think 3.
Yeah,
It just looks exactly the same.
this one has the planter in front of it.
Yes.
Yep.
All righty.
Mine are out of order. I
Okay.
apologize.
All right, and this is 106 East Main, also Randy Johnson, 2023-003, and replace existing glass and metal doors.
With double wooden doors to match existing door and transom. So this is similar to that first one where we're referring to that extra opening at the top as the transom, even though it does not function as such. It was a modification when this metal frame doors were installed, they didn't make them that tall, so they had to
To
fill that
shrink
open.
them, yeah.
And going with the same watermark, taller building, taller doors again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Questions? Motions?
Will the doors be set in like the current doors?
Yes,
or-
ma'am. The proposal is not to change anything on the facade except for the doors.
That's just a picture of the doors.
The jam remains the same, so.
Do I hear a motion for this approval?
I move that we,
Denial?
I'll move that we approve this, these doors as written.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? now we're on COA 2023-004, 108 East Main. And here again, we are replacing existing glass and metal doors with double wooden doors to match existing door and transom opening.
So this is very similar to the last one you just saw. This one just doesn't have the planer box in the front, so it looks almost exactly the same as the case you just saw. Except this one is for 108 East Main.
Alrighty. And these metal doors were put in like in the 50s? Or,
Probably late fifties, early sixties.
an improvement. All right. Questions? Motions?
I move that we accept COA 2023-004 as it's read.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
2 seconds, thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now we're on COA 2023-005.
Yes, Chairman, this one's replace existing glass and metal doors with double wooden doors to match existing door and transom opening, which sounds repetitive, but they're all different.
Yes.
Code double doors, yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve
you.
2023-005, that it meets the criteria B, C, D, E, J, and K.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I will second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Lots of pages. Okay, now this one is a little different. This
Yes,
is
ma'am.
COA 2023-006.
This is for 111 or 111 East Main Street. And as Chairman just pointed out, this one is slightly different. This is replacing existing glass and metal doors with double wooden doors to match existing door and transom opening. In addition, replace all the metal window trim / framing on all the windows on either side of the door with wood framing.
Any need for discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Do we know the construction, and I might have missed it, do we know the construction date of this building?
It used to be Fierce Cycle Sports Shop when I was a kid. That's all I know.
Really?
It's been there.
So, it's listed as a one-story rectangular brick commercial building built in approximately 1900. It has had modifications done to it over time, and I don't have a picture of the side of it, but right around the side, you can see that the brick actually changes where Mr. Johnson has a mural. The brick changes from that side to the front facade. So at some point, it had extensive facade work, but I don't have any record as to when that was done, because this is definitely not 1900.
Yeah.
The facade you're looking at right here.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what's been, I've been sitting here going across and scratching my head going, it just doesn't, yeah, feel like a 1900 building.
Right. I think it was modernized. All righty.
The front does not match the side, is what I'm telling you.
All right. Thank you for the question. Do we have any more comments? Any motions? I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
That we approve COA 2023-006 on the criteria of H, C, D, E, G, J, and K have been satisfied. Do I hear a second?
I will second that.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye, nay, whatever.
Okay. No, that's good. Speak your mind, don't hold back. Now, this one is also different. No, it isn't.
Yes, Chairman, it is.
No, it is.
So this is for 113 East Main Street.
Right.
This is replace existing glass and metal single door with side lights, existing single door with side lights, with a double wooden
Yes.
door
Right.
to match that opening.
Yes.
So this is also, this is the only one of this particular
Yes.
request. But it's the same style door, same style double wooden doors for the new ones.
And do I have any questions? Comments?
I have a question.
Please.
What's the trim around the windows of that building? Is that metal? It's wood, okay, all right, good. Okay.
The only one with metal framing is the one that you just reviewed, that you approved to replace with wood.
I move that we approve COA 2023-007. Because it meets the criteria of B, C, D, E, G, and J and K.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I second that.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All righty, now this is different.
We're no longer looking at doors and windows.
Right. COA 2023-008. This is 115 Main, and the applicant is requesting to paint all brick on front facade of the building, paint tile on the front facade, install an awning sign as well as a sign on the front facade using existing sign brackets.
Yes, Chairman, so there was a slight confusion. So the owner is Randy Johnson, the same owners you've had previously on the other addresses. The applicant is Sally Ann Swearingen. Sally Ann and I have worked on, communicated a number of buildings. And so she knows our answer is if a building has been painted, it can be repainted. Never did I actually guess that a scenario such as this would come about. So Ms. Swearingen is correct. At one point, this building was painted. Since that time, the paint has been removed. And so this right here, and it's somewhat difficult, you may have to get close, but in that left photo, I actually got up on a ladder and looked, and you can see paint flakes in the mortar joints. The surface of that brick is no longer a painted surface, which then qualifies it for an unpainted surface. So by the letter of the law, yes, Ms. Swearingen was correct. Once a building's been painted, it can be repainted. We've just never had a case where it was painted, removed, and then requested to be repainted. And the reason I give that lengthy of a answer is the applicant, by no means, there was no malicious intent by starting the painting job. It just happened that we found out, oh, wait, hold on a second, it actually hasn't been painted. The surface has not been painted. So that's why you see in that picture there, from 2018, that is the way it looked with the tile. And then that gray section there has been primed and painted, and then that vertical, you can see kind of on the edge of the screen, that is that tile that's going vertical that has just been primed. So that is the explanation for the painting section. And then staff does not have samples. I believe the applicant has brought those with her this evening for the sign. So when you get to the sign section, or whether you want to do that first, Ms. Swearingen has handouts that she can provide you on the sign details. So, Chairman, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Should we talk to Ms. Swearingen?
It is your decision.
Okay. Yes.
Oh.
This shows, I'm Sally Ann Swearingen, and this shows drawings of where the signs will be located, because one of the things is I always want to try to make sure that we're not putting any more holes in the building than we have to. And so the awning, if you see top right, there's the awning that projects out 6 foot. And then below it that's the shape of the sign, and it will be 7 foot. I went around measuring every sign, I think, downtown to see what the height would be of all of them, and that's been the average of all of them. So, that will be, of course, what we'll have. It will be approximately, 38 inches long, and it will be 16 inches tall. And then above the awning, instead of using the brackets, there's long brackets, and if you look at it, you'll see where there's 2 different kinds of brick. So if you don't paint the brick, then you're gonna have this hodgepodge of colors up there. And so, but we want to use the bracket, but we want to project the sign out so that when you walk through, and I have other pictures, when you walk down the street, you will be able to see the name of the popcorn store. So, and it would be 3'10" by 32 inches tall.
I have 2 questions. So on your drawing here, that's, this top one is over the
Underneath,
sidewalk, under the canopy.
correct,
The bottom one, that is,
above the awning.
so, oh, it's hanging, it's not the full length of those rods. I was
Projecting
envisioning
out,
something
yeah,
that way.
and that's, you know what, if you look at it, because it's such narrow right there, people wouldn't be able to see it when you're driving, so we wanted to project it out so that when you're at the conventions, visitor bureau, you'd be able to look down. And the neighbor, which I have some pictures showing that.
So, Dr. Beisel, what she's
Got it.
referring to is an
Now I
awning
get it.
sign below and a projecting sign above.
Okay, I was thinking using the railings and having it off
Right.
the railings full length, so I.
Now, what I
Got
want to
it.
do is paint those the color of the building to go away, hide them, so that they won't be there. So it'd be projecting similar to this, which you see even, to the one next to it, the antique store, see, has theirs projected out.
So it's anchored in the center, and then it's exactly the
Correct.
same length as the awning, so 6 feet for that and 6 feet for the awning, so it does not stick out any further.
That's
And it
correct.
lines up with that. Okay,
Right.
that makes sense.
I have a question about the awning. Is it gonna actually cover up the existing brick, detail work? Kinda looks like you're gonna cover up the brick detail work.
No, we're gonna accent the brick detail work.
Cause
It's
it looks
already
like it's higher than the detail work. What are you
The
looking
awning?
at? You know, go back
The
to the
awning's
picture.
right here, Judy.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the brick detail, that's paint, got it, never mind.
It's
So
okay.
the awning
There's
is.
You guys
a
are-
real
Okay.
detailed looking awning there.
So the awning's staying
I see
exactly,
this is
Yeah,
paint.
we're not touching the awning.
Thank you.
The awning is staying the same.
Do I feel
You
like
were
an
seeing
idiot?
fringe.
I
We,
was
you
seeing
know,
fringe.
Yes,
That looks like
yes,
fringe.
yes.
oh, no, that's
I
the
got you.
detail that we
got
love.
I get it.
Judy, we want that detail that's
like
up there, but just to be able to add a little bit, because if
at
you look at
this
all the buildings in that area, they're all
got it.
that is painted in each
Yeah.
one of them and through there.
so the lower
it.
signage and the upper signage are both even in the center of the building? Is that how you're doing them, or are they?
We're using in the one below the awning, there are 2 existing, hooks or
Okay.
brackets, and they're at the doorway.
Right, okay.
So
Okay.
we want to be able to use those 2 right at the doorway.
So the sign will be under one of the doorways?
It'll be in front of the doorway, under the awning,
Under the awning in
Right.
front of the first doorway?
both of them,
Both of them.
So
both
it's
of them.
two
Two
And
signs.
this one is.
2 different
Oh,
signs,
2 signs, okay, okay.
2 signs.
Gotcha.
Got it.
And how far do they come out
That's 2 as opposed to.
from the side of the building, the signs?
So that was
Well,
kind
the
of-
signs will come out like 5'6".
From,
Yeah.
and then behind it down?
And yeah, so
To me, it's-
And the awning's 6
Yeah.
feet,
Like-
so. Yeah.
this awning is 6 foot wide,
Uh-huh.
and the sign's gonna come out shy of that.
Oh, okay, oh, the signs are gonna also, they're gonna be also
Right.
the same direction? as
Not
the-
parallel,
the
but
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, now I see,
Angled.
makes sense.
perpendicular, I should say that.
That looks
The
nice.
signs will be pretty too.
Oh, I think so. You've seen the sign in the window or whatever, it's gonna be similar to that.
Okay.
Chairman, typically when we have sign requests, we provide you with sign guidelines, but since we didn't have that information in advance, you don't have that with you. However, our design guidelines state that both of these styles of signs, projecting signs and awning signs, are both types of signs that are recommended in
Right.
your downtown district.
I have a question about the brick, and this is mostly, I think, for Perky, someone that knows, because if we're not supposed to paint bricks that have been unpainted, what's the reason for that, and what is it about paint and structure of brick that we need to know
Take that
to make a good
Jimmy.
decision? Does anybody know that?
It's the
Do you?
breathability.
Okay, I don't know that.
They're designed, these are not modern hard bricks, so they're
Okay.
designed for water and condensation to go in and out.
Okay,
And when you cover that, you end up with all sorts of problems.
oh,
The moisture gets trapped behind the
Under.
paint,
Yeah, it's
It
not,
and so
in?
then it drips down inside the walls, damaging the mortar and the brick itself.
yeah, the permeability is the issue though.
okay, okay.
Right.
Thank you, I knew there was
You use
something.
But when you look at like a lot of the cities are, you know, are allowing that, Georgetown, every one of them has been painted or whatever to go through that. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to make it stand out.
Okay. All right, do we have any more questions about the sign?
Signage.
No, I think, no,
Nope.
I appreciate the drawings, it
Yes.
helps.
Yes, it really does help.
Okay, and will that, are these the colors that you want, are looking to use?
On the
Red and gray
building,
and black,
yeah,
yeah.
the signage will be probably the gray too, gray and black and red.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Swearingen.
Questions on the painting? It seems like everybody's jumping to that.
There are two different.
Yeah.
We have two different.
She's just flipping back to our PowerPoint, so
Okay.
I somehow lost it.
Oh, pushed the wrong button.
User error.
Okay,
All righty.
so can we
Yes.
break this up, or what?
I think we should. I think we should have a motion to approve the signage, and then continue on into the other part. Will that be okay?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Do I hear a motion to approve the signage of COA 2023-008 as acceptable?
I'll make a motion that it approves, the design, and I also know it meets our sign guidelines.
Right. Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All righty. Now, let's move on to the painting of the tile and the painting of the brick.
Well, the painting of the brick, as you'll notice, there's three different kinds of colors of brick on the building. And so in order to make it more, I guess, appealing for someone who's going to rent or whatever, one of the reasons is we wanted to be able to paint it and accent it so that it would be able to stand out. Right now, it looks kind of washed out, and you've got multiple colors that are on the building. And so that's one of the reasons on the paint color. When we started earlier, I have another picture that'll show the white around the windows was not, it's black. It's been black since, I guess, I don't know, when I got the job in 2022, in July, the windows and stuff were black in color. So we wanted to leave that up at the upper part,
Right.
Right.
so. And do the accents, bring in the accent colors as you see in the drawing that I have put there in front of you. Now, the tile, talking about the tile has several pieces that have been damaged quite a bit, which I have a few pictures. I took a few, and I should have taken, excuse me for not taking a lot more of the damaged tile. The size of tile changed about in the late 60s, early 70s. These are bigger tiles, and I searched and searched and searched to see if I could find some in its place, and you can't find any in its place, and especially the colors that are there. There's just not any existence. So we ended up having to, I guess, put a coat, but also sand them a little bit to be able to put another coat on them, which I know you're probably gonna die, but there was nothing else you could do with all the damage of the tile that were there to be able to make it look a little bit fresh and appealing, because, you know, as an owner of a store, I wouldn't want something that looked like I was not being successful in something. I wanted it to be able to look like it's fresh and clean, and it would be appealing for someone to come in. And so just painting it so that it kind of blends in with the gray color scheme that we have proposed. And I have other pictures.
So to get the primer to apply to the tile, y'all had to sand down the surface, so the gloss and the finish is off there already.
Because there was a lot of damage on several of the tile. And by the time you go in and mask and try to correct it, you couldn't match, it looked awful. So, I'm sorry, as a designer, I can't stand awful. So,
Okay, all right.
So,
Yes,
About the paint, the painter that was working inside here, Mr. Butters, we called Brian, and Brian got on a ladder, and Mr. Butters had did he have on his rag?
He had,
naphtha.
turpentine, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, he called it something more technical than that.
Right, but it's essentially it was
anyway,
paint thinner,
but-
that's what it was.
like acetone
Brian,
or,
Brian didn't get up too far, because I think he was scared, but he could rub just one brick, and he could tell that it had been painted. And I think where you see, if you'll go back to the further up you go, I think the more paint would probably be there. And if you go back to, that right there, there's probably a lot of paint still left, especially where you want to accent that with black. Right, Sally? And what did you say? It was ugly, or it's
well,
gross?
Oh, well, it's got all these multicolors,
Yeah.
and it looks washed out.
It's
and-
gross, so, okay.
and, you know,
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
so the building's been pressure washed and everything, and it still has that same look, or has anybody?
Yes,
It has not been cleaned.
okay, I was
So
gonna say,
that's
if the brick
just-
be cleaned, it might all be.
Excuse me, can I
Yeah.
make one point? Tile?
Yes, please.
We don't have to worry about it being porous, so I don't see a problem with painting the tile. The brick is the problem with the brick, is it has to breathe. Am I correct in that?
That is correct.
Two different
Well,
issues.
yes.
Well,
In terms of damage to a tile versus brick by painting, you are correct.
Yeah, so I just, my opinion, don't see a problem with painted tile.
I had just,
well, yeah, as of now, the tile will
Well, it's
have to
painted
be,
anyway.
Yes, it,
as of today,
Yeah, I just,
the tile will have to be painted, because after it's been sanded down and primed, you
some,
can't- you can't
some
go back on that,
restoration is
so.
viewed as
Yeah.
doing no harm.
Correct.
For 27 years, I was dealt in antique dolls, not normal dolls, but actual antique dolls. And many times we would run across that where a doll had a flaw and someone would sand it and paint it. And it destroyed the value of a doll, and I'm talking sometimes $20,000 dolls.
Yeah.
wow.
And so, but that's been done. So, actually, that's been done. So,
right.
I'm
I
gonna look,
think that we need to just, yes,
I
go
was just
ahead.
at it looks like the tile on this 2018 picture goes up halfway to the windows?
It does.
It's like,
It does.
but it didn't look like on the,
It's-
It's
did
been
it,
primed.
In the picture there, you just can't see it because
Oh,
the awning cuts it off.
oh,
But
okay,
it does
but
extend, it does
okay.
extend up there.
It's still there, okay, all right, okay.
It's difficult to take pictures of downtown buildings without getting run over.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you didn't get run over.
you have to find a good
Answer
angle
my
to capture
question.
and not get hit.
That's fine. That's why I asked. That's fine. That's fine. That's not even a big issue. I just was curious. looking
Yeah.
at it, if it changed
Yes,
somehow.
Yeah,
and,
that's, I
and
think.
actually, I'm not I do like to see brick saved, when it is original. I'm not totally against painting this because the buildings on each side are painted
Exactly.
and,
Chairman, do you have any more questions for the applicant?
yes,
we need-
please.
Well, no, I was asking if
Do
you had
we
any
have
more
any
questions.
questions?
No.
Thank you, Seth.
Okay, I have more photos to show you closeness of
But,
the brick.
I'm gonna let you talk.
Well, and let him.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yes,
I just
let-
wanted to be up here to be able to
Yes,
answer,
yeah,
because that one
please.
doesn't record as well. And so that's the only reason I was standing back up here,
Okay.
if you had any questions of staff.
Yes.
So as a novice, Perky, just when you do paint the brick and the condensation goes inside, is there ways to take care of that from the inside and make sure it doesn't destroy the building?
You wanna field that one?
The
Well,
brick, the brick
actually-
is made differently.
Yeah.
So the answer is no.
Yeah.
Because a hard-fired modern brick doesn't have that problem. It's not meant to breathe.
Right.
So you can imagine if you have this right here,
Yep.
and you paint one side, now it's an impermeable surface, but
Right.
this side still is.
That's, I guess, yeah.
You can't,
And it'll
you can't
start,
fix
it'll
that.
start,
because then
It
the
just
joints,
it'll start sweating.
And
that kind of
actually,
thing,
there are
and
some
it'll-
paints that are more adaptable to that situation than others. You don't want a hard shell type paint, like a high gloss, oil. That would give a more impermeable skin over it, but, I don't know.
so Chairman, I'm gonna provide you a little bit of guidance.
Yes, please.
Or not really guidance, but options. As with any case, you have three options. Well, you have four, but rarely is the fourth one used. So you can approve as is, you can approve with modifications, you can deny the whole thing, or you can table it. Well, the fourth one was what I was referring to tabling, because that doesn't really it doesn't provide any guidance to the applicant
Yeah.
in this case.
Right.
So really, you're looking at three options. You approve the request as it stands. You approve the request with a modification, similar to what you did by pulling the signage out. So you could do something, approve the tile, deny the brick, or you could approve the brick, deny there's any combinations of those things you can do. Or you deny the whole thing, but if you deny the whole thing, you've got to provide some guidance as to why. And so simply to deny the request wouldn't provide the applicant any direction.
Right.
So it would have to be given something. Now, you also have options in terms of requiring a complete reversal, since work was done prior to approval. In this case, that's probably not a viable option, since the tile has already been damaged.
Right.
You still have the ability to do that. This is not a staff telling you, you or the body who get to say these things. Staff would not recommend that, however. Or you could just leave it as it is today and say, continue with the painting that's been painted and approve since it's already been done. Does that kind of make,
Yes, yes,
That's a good question.
you have lots of avenues here, and I'm just trying to make sure
Yes.
you cover all of them. Yes, sir.
absolutely.
It looks like the grout in this picture between the bricks has actually been painted tan. So is it possible they painted these bricks kind of the same color as the brick at one point?
Yes, but there is currently no paint on the surface of that brick.
Right.
The,
There
what,
is on
what
the
Mr. John,
driveway.
what Mr. Johnson was referring to was actually, it's dirt. And so what you're referring to is cleaning the building, that was actually not paint residue that came off, that was years of dirt on the brick that once it was wiped, it came off.
I disagree. There is, you really get up there, you will see that it has been painted. If you look at that brick and you look at it closely, it is almost the same as the Cole Art Center that has the little speckles and stuff in it. You don't see that on a lot of the brick. When I got up there, there's a lot that has been coated over, like a yellow coating that's on it, painted, but from years of not being kept up, it's not. And also, that outside of that building, you're talking about the damage or things, water coming through, it goes to the windows that are there, that are below. So, there's not much damage that's gonna go to the building when you look at it, because it's held by, a really, old beam that's up above, that's look at it, it's held up underneath the windows. And those windows were added later. So,
Let me ask,
Yes.
our hands-on.
Yes.
So, on the tile, I'm assuming, it's been, if it's been roughed up, that high glaze that was on there is.
Correct, you can't, it has, so the
I'll have to
tile
worry
has to
about
be primed and painted now.
Okay.
Right.
There's no options on that.
The surface has been
That's just,
destroyed.
that's
Okay.
what it is,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
how it, the other question is on the paint, have you guys, done the due diligence and found the types of primer and paint that you're going to use and what type it is that's gonna allow the permeability needed for those types of bricks?
yes.
Okay, and so you have all that information, okay. Cause that would be the only thing that I would say,
Yes.
approve it with the stipulation of this is the type of paint and product and primers that need to be used. That'd be the only thing there, so.
I mean, 'cause you see red brick and you see yellow brick, you see
Right.
different multiple kinds of brick that are on.
And Chairman, I want to kind of just remind you that far too often, we because we're humans, want to see things that are pretty. And
I
you're
know.
not, and
We're
as,
not the
as you
pretty
have told me,
police.
and you beat me to it, and I said, you've told me many times, you are not the pretty police.
So,
So
I'll
you're
just-
not, so the reason I say that is you're not
Yes.
looking at colors.
Oh,
No.
no.
This
we're
could
not.
be all black,
Right.
all green, all
Yes,
white.
we're
The
not
color
looking-
is, does not
It's
matter.
more the product and the,
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
what
Right.
they choose to use on it, as long as it's going to do what's needed to keep the bricks in.
Can I just say one thing? I just want
Yes.
to remind everybody about permeability. That's
Yes,
the issue
yes.
with the brick.
And that's what Eric was talking
And the
about.
reason I was bringing up the pretty is
Yes.
I wanted you to avoid
Right.
picking colors
No,
if you
no.
approve the
No, no.
tile. Is that is
Right.
completely up
It's
to the
not our
applicant
purview.
on the colors. It is simply a yes or no.
well,
I
I,
think he has a question out there.
no,
Eric?
no,
So I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes,
yeah, come up.
come up, please. State
Trying
your
to
name.
think who's been on that.
My name's Alan Sowards. The brick that y'all were saying, that's a special type of brick that takes moisture in and releases it. What happens to the moisture that goes into a
No,
brick?
it
and-
doesn't take it in
It
and
doesn't take it
release
in?
it. Oh, no.
Okay.
The new brick doesn't allow the moisture in.
Okay,
The old brick is
Does
designed to
allow it.
breathe, and so
Right.
when you seal it, it doesn't
okay.
let out.
But if the moisture's in the brick and it freezes, what happens
Then
then?
your brick breaks, because
It-
this is old, soft brick.
Yes,
Okay, that's the only question
it
I have.
splits.
Conundrum.
It splays.
It's really
I
some of
think
the, one of the key things is like, preventing mildew and molds and
Yes,
things
'cause
like that,
behind the
that
wall
can
you
form
build up,
inside.
right.
If
And I
the
believe
brick's
what,
sealed.
what
So-
Mr. Sowers was referring to is what happens if the brick is full of moisture and then it freezes? Well, there's room for it to leave. Because it is
Exactly.
porous
And
on
it's-
all surfaces,
Correct.
and so as
Yeah.
it doesn't freeze in place, it expands out the other side.
Yeah.
It's not like it stays inside the brick.
Yeah.
Right, but that's why you have weep holes and you have certain things to be
Right.
able to make sure that water is not retained by.
Eric, would you like to make a motion considering adding the stipulation
No.
about paint?
No.
No, okay.
Well, where you're going. I'm gonna make a comment, and I don't
Yes,
know if
yes,
you might
please.
have been the only other person still on this. We've had another building nearby, that
I know.
exact same application. It had appeared to have paint at some point in the past, and it was not a happy situation, but I don't think anybody drives by and thinks of that today. But we go by the guidelines, which say unpainted brick, by which this is not to be painted. And there's a reason for that, and I feel that we should stick with it. We can't fix the tile, which is a shame, because it was really pretty dang awesome mid-century tile. That's gone, that's done. But, brick and painting is one of the biggest things that comes up before this committee, and I feel that we should stick with the guidelines, otherwise it's a very slippery slope, so.
It is
I
indeed.
will step on Eric's toes, and he can veto
Okay.
me if he wants. That, we approve, well, I don't know how we approve the paint the tile, because I don't agree with it. That we approve the tile painting, because although it would not have met B, C, D, E, G, A, and K, it has been done and we cannot reverse it.
Right.
and that we do not approve painting the brick because it does not meet the minimal alterations. It doesn't meet the distinguishing qualities. All that paint, you end up losing the detail in the brickwork. It's not consistent. It's not an alteration. We're not repairing, et cetera, et cetera.
So, Chairman, just for minute-taking
Yes.
purposes, excuse me, Dr. Beisel,
Yes.
you referenced criterion B and C, and did you
Well-
reference another one? I apologize.
Well, I was going
Is it
down your
not
list
meeting?
that you provide, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So having a hodgepodge of different
So-
brick is okay?
When you,
So your motion, I know it hasn't been seconded, but your motion is to approve the painting on the tile and
well, I
deny,
said, yeah, I said approved because
ma'am.
it didn't meet, but it already does, yeah.
and then deny the painting of the brick based on it not meeting criteria B and C?
B, C, for sure, B, C, and D, that's the style of its time,
I just needed to be able to provide
Yes.
feedback, so.
yes. The others aren't necessarily applicable to that, I don't think, unless somebody else wants to correct me.
So Chairman, to restate, Dr. Beisel's motion
Yes.
is to approve the painting on the tile, since it's
On the
already been
tile.
painted, and to deny the painting on the brick based on it not meeting Secretary of the Interior standards and city ordinance criteria B, C, and D.
Is there some way to date this brick? Because this brick looks new. I have some old bricks that when they get wet, they dissolve. But these bricks are different. I think they were built at a later date, but they're not as water permeable as you're saying.
Yes, there are ways to do that. Staff does not have that capabilities. We have to just go by the records that we have, which say that it was built in 1912.
All right, a motion has been made. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
All right, all in favor state aye, and this is to approve the painting of the tile and to deny the painting of the brick. All in favor state aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. So, but anyway, all right.
Just one question. It's just-
Yes.
Can you stain brick? Is that a different thing than painting?
Well, bricks can be whitewashed,
Okay.
Which is beautiful.
a German schmear, a lot of things can be done, but, you know.
Along with cleaning.
Yes,
Cleaning,
cleaning,
I think-
cleaning.
I think
yes.
pressure, yeah, a cleaning of it would be,
It does if
If-
you
if
use
it's
a
done
high power
improperly.
you don't want a
We're
high
adjourned.
power wash. I'm so sorry. We are adjourned.